KFile team scoured Kamala Harris's tweets and statements going all the way back to 2017. And what they found was more than 50 instances of Harris slamming Trump's border wall. But now, new Harris campaign ads actually showcase that very wall.
As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border.
And on top of critical tweets, Harris also wrote in her 2019 book, quote, "There was a bigger reason to oppose the border wall. A useless wall on the southern border would be nothing more than a symbol, a monument standing in opposition to not just everything I value, but to the fundamental values upon which this country was built. How could I vote to build what would be little more than a monument designed to send the cold, hard message, keep out?"
Now just a few days out from the first presidential debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Watching the preps closely, as much as he can tell anyway, as the US analyst Michael Ware. Apparently Kamala Harris is studying furiously because these are questions, Michael, that she's going to get that she hasn't answered publicly before. How do you think she's going to go?
Yeah, look, it's going to be fascinating to see. As you and I have discussed before, let's not forget, Kamala Harris is not only the sitting vice president, but she was a US senator, and she's been the president of the US Senate. And she was the Attorney General of California. And before that, she was the District Attorney of San Francisco. Trust me, this woman knows how to debate and to cross-examine. Let's face it. So, look, I don't think her style is of great concern to her team, but certainly they'd want to nail down some sticky specifics, perhaps, on policies. But we're 5 days out now, and you can see both candidates, the former President Trump and the sitting Vice President, taking very different approaches. Vice President Harris is essentially going to ground in Pennsylvania to prep for this debate, whereas the former President Trump is well known for the fact that he doesn't really think he needs much debate prep and prefers to go impromptu, off the cuff. And let's not forget that one of the sticking points getting us to this debate were the rules, and particularly about open mic night, if I can put it like that. We saw in the previous debate with then candidate President Biden, you know, the other speaker's mic was muted when the other candidate was speaking. Now, on this one, Vice President Harris really wanted President Trump to be unmuted. She wanted him to be set loose. But the word is that his campaign, rather than President Trump himself, really insisted on having President Trump muted on his mic.
Yeah, hey, still with the presidential race, and I've said already, it's my favourite story of the morning, just for a few different reasons. Vladimir Putin appearing to mock the presidential race this morning by throwing his support behind Kamala Harris. This comes after the Merrick Garland accusations yesterday about Russia being involved again. What are your thoughts? I mean, who would, if anybody, would prefer Vladimir Putin's endorsement?
Well, you've put it so well, mate. You know, this is the poison pill endorsement, right?
Yeah.
Because really no one wants it. And as we've seen from these Department of Justice indictments, the ones you referenced yesterday and today, the reality is the Russian state is actively working to support former President Trump's campaign, not Vice President Kamala Harris's. There's new indictments today against a very prominent Washington, D.C. Beltway commentator and analyst of Russian descent who advised the Nixon administration, who advised President Trump's first campaign. He ran a think tank, an extremely prominent conservative foreign affairs journal, and who moved to Russia just 2 years ago. Well, today he and his wife were indicted for about $1 million worth of wire fraud and money laundering and influence peddling for Russia. So, yeah, the poison pill endorsement, mate. On the one hand, he wants to, you know, have a jab at Kamala Harris by endorsing her, while the rest of his covert machinery is working overtime to support former President Trump.
If looks could kill, yeah, that's a great shot of...
it's hilarious, mate. It's hilarious.
Vladimir Putin, endorsing Kamala Harris with that wicked smile. Yeah, good one. Thank you very much as always, Michael. We'll talk to you again next week.